Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So, these are the betting odds for who is going to win the 2024 Democrat nomination. And while I still believe that Biden likely is not going to be replaced as the Democrat nominee, it seems like the potential for that to happen went up after yesterday when you had the DOJ report that basically said they were not going to press charges against Biden for the documents case because he was just a feeble old man without any sort of memory and talking about how non-cognitively functional he really is and how he's kind of mentally deteriorating. And then Biden went up there for that disaster of a press conference. I've seen nothing like it before, where he tried to prove that he was still with it by failing to remember plenty of different details about the case, basically lying about what was in the report. And on top of that, he confused Egypt with Mexico for some reason. I don't know, maybe he was thinking of pyramids, or he's just Joe Biden and is suffering from severe cognitive decline. And you can look at the odds on PredictIt. Betting odds are not everything, but it kind of can gauge the pulse of the people paying attention to politics. And a week ago, Biden was at 85 cents. Newsom and Harris were down there at a combined 10 cents. But now Biden's fallen all the way to 75 cents, and Newsom and Harris are combining for 25. And this is absolutely interesting to look at. Now, I will say this about the whole ordeal. I do believe that Biden will not be replaced, but if he is replaced, it's not going to be with Gavin Newsom. I believe it's going to be by Kamala Harris. They're not going to be able to get her out of the way easily, especially with their own woke base trying to, coup the quote-unquote rightful successor, because that's how she views it. That's how a good portion of the base views it. And that successor, the VP to Biden, already being a woman, not only that, but also a black woman, it's not going to be optically ideal for them in the eyes of their woke base to do that. I think Newsom could be the VP so long as Harris changes her residency, and I think he would take that opportunity because I think that her VP really would have to be a white male if she was going to lead the ticket. But I can't exactly think of one that potentially would fit that bill because you don't have Cuomo up in, New York anymore. You don't really have any that are that prominent in the party, at least for 2024. Maybe 2028 and beyond, we could talk about that. But still, it's probably going to be Harris at the top of the ticket if Biden's replaced. So I thought, why not do an election prediction? Some people are talking about it's going to be Michelle Obama. But Michelle Obama doesn't have any political acumen, and the only reason why she's not somebody who's regarded to be unpopular electorally is because she, even though she gets political from time to time, she's not really seen as a politician. If she were to run for president, it probably would not turn out as well as you would think. I don't believe she's going to be the nominee. I think that if Biden were to step down, it would be Harris that would replace him. So without further ado, why don't we fill out this election map and see what the election would look like if Biden gets replaced, which they're running out of time to do this. If this is not done within the next couple of months or so, they're not going to be able to do it at all. So I think that Trump obviously would run it up in all of these safe red states, and that we know. Harris is somebody who is honestly more unpopular than Biden at this point, which is why I don't believe that the Democrats are going to replace him. Biden's not getting out of the way easily. They might be testing the waters, seeing if he will, but I don't believe that it is exactly going to happen. But Harris is an absolute disaster, an absolute train wreck, severely unpopular, and that we know. She would still take a lot of these states in the safe column. Delaware, I think, will leave that one as not safe blue because Biden would not be on the ballot. So you don't have that factor going on to really boost Harris there. But Trump would take the state of Florida. Arguably, I could argue Florida and Texas could be safe at this point because I think it's going to backfire if they replace Biden. As bad as Biden is, you could argue Florida and Texas. I'll put them as likely, but they're pretty much close to safe in this prediction. Harris is somebody that doesn't even have any Rust Belt appeal either. Joe Biden, at least he can say, oh, I'm an old school Union Democrat, Jack. And obviously his policy is contrary to that. But still, He's from the region. You have enough people that could get fooled to at least make some of these states competitive. That's why they were competitive in the first place back in 2020. But still, I think this time around, it would go a little bit differently. Now, let's fill out what other states would be likely blue. I think Colorado, Hawaii would be safe. Massachusetts would be likely Dem. Rhode Island, probably safe Dem. New York, I mean, you could even make the case that could be, I wouldn't say under 10, but close to it. Maine's 1st District probably would be safe Democrat there as well. Likely Democrat states, we'll do Delaware. Delaware would fit into that column in this scenario. Other than that, I don't even know if there really would be any likely Democrat states. We could move on to filling out some of the lean states for Donald Trump. I think Wisconsin would be. I think North Carolina, you could even make the case North Carolina in this scenario would be likely, especially with all the chaos that would transpire, because there's a reason why they're not having Biden step down, because they don't have a bench. They don't have a bench right now. They know that Newsom is probably not viable. Newsom has said that he would not even be the successor. He basically said that Harris would be. Maybe Newsom would be on the ticket, but still, they don't have very many options. What are they going to do? Go to Hillary Clinton again? Yeah, I'm sure that's going to work out very well. They're kind of screwed either way. That's why people are bringing up Michelle Obama, but we kind of know that that's probably not going to happen. It just really isn't. But furthermore, I think Georgia, you could move that to lean. Arizona, arguably. Nevada, all these states would be a sweep. Pennsylvania as well. Even you could say Trump would gain a couple of points there. Biden, the whole Scranton Joe thing, it's a facade. But Harris, that's like pushing back another negative on the ticket as well. Even compared to Joe's failure of a presidency, because you have somebody who's extremely unpalatable to that region. Michigan as well probably is lean Republican if Harris is the nominee. I think that Harris would probably pick off the state of Minnesota, but the third-party vote share increasing would definitely help out Donald Trump there significantly. Nebraska's second, probably lean Democrat. Same thing with the state of Maine. New Hampshire, probably like tilt Democrat-ish. Virginia, probably I would say that'd be like a lean margin. Same thing with New Mexico. I think Harris would actually possibly even cause the Hispanic trends to accelerate even further. So there you go. Donald Trump would win if Joe Biden's replaced. You could make the case that Minnesota could flip. New Hampshire could flip under these circumstances because Harris is unpopular. You might say she's cognitively with it more so than Biden, but at the same time, replacing Biden at the 10th or 11th hour is not a good move because now Harris has to just mount this entire campaign. You could say it's been in the works for a while under the radar. Who knows? But still, she's unpalatable. She's unlikable, arguably more unlikable than Hillary Clinton. Her favorables are in the gutter, even more so than Biden's are. And this is the most realistic replacement that they have for Biden. Remember that. It's just not going to work out, in my opinion. If they replace Biden, they just can't. They are screwed. They know they have to run with him. They're going to try to run cover. And as a result, I believe it's going to, backfire regardless. Biden's probably not going to debate, but you can't do the basement strategy anymore at this point. You cannot do it when you are in the White House, when you have a record that's being attacked. You can't exactly hide the way you could during a global pandemic back in 2020. And his favorable rating in most polling before the 2020 election was actually in the low 50s, believe it or not. But now that he's actually been exposed to the national scene, his numbers dip. Donald Trump is actually one of the most popular politicians in the country with a national profile when it comes to polling, because that's what happens. Typically, when politicians get more exposure to the national scene, they become more polarizing. It's partially why Ron DeSantis was such a bust before he really mounted his campaign. He was polling a lot better than he was when the campaign actually started and people got to really be acquainted with him. And now Biden, if you weren't fully paying attention and you just listened to whatever the mainstream media had to say, well, at that point, it's like, yeah, you probably didn't really buy the whole narrative that Biden was mentally deficient and he was coming apart at the seams. But now, because you've had, 3-4 years to see it in action, Now that's why his approval rating is so low, because the country is in squalor in many regards. You have a border that's wide open. You have an economy that's still not working for a lot of people. Biden's talking about the economic numbers, but the people aren't seeing it, and it just makes him seem more out of touch. What issue does he really have to run on? Is he going to try to just only run on the abortion issue when Donald Trump is not exactly regarded to be a hardliner on the issue for a Republican? Same thing goes for entitlements. It's not like he has the healthcare issue. Oh, Trump failed on healthcare or whatever, because Biden hasn't done anything on healthcare either. So either way, Biden is completely screwed, and he has really no path to victory barring some sort of miracle. And if the Democrats actually replace Biden, they're probably going to do worse, ironically enough, which speaks volumes of how bad that their, current replacement bench would be, realistically speaking. And even so, it's like they wouldn't be able to win. So they're going to lose with him or lose without him. I think they're just going to roll with him and see what happens and try to get the media to run cover. They're going to, try to use the election system to their advantage once again. But Republicans need to do the same thing regarding early voting, regarding harvesting where legal, because they can do it. They can take advantage of it. They got to drive up turnout. And the Democrats need to, because there's no enthusiasm for Joe Biden, and the enthusiasm for Biden is dipping compared to what it was 4 years ago, where there really wasn't a whole lot of enthusiasm for him either. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is running a competent campaign. He's on message. He's going out there, and I think he would beat whoever the Democrats put up. And it's going to be difficult for any Democrat at this point to distance themselves effectively enough from this administration, even if they do replace him. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle, out.